So for me, restoration started the moment that I said, no more.
Our healing and our restoration isn't going to happen overnight.
I was so silenced for how many years? Please don't take my voice away.
All my friends are firecrackers. Connie is one of them.
Restoration is hard. Healing is hard. And it's beautiful all through that toughness and hardness.
Thank you so much for being with us, for invading the darkness for this podcast. I'm so excited that I get to sit and just speak to both of you. Connie, I've known you for years, been able to work with you in Florida, and same with you, Telisia. So I can't wait to dive in as we just ask you questions, especially when we're talking about long-term restoration, long-term healing and hope, and really living beyond your story, right? Just seeing who you are as people now and what you're doing in the movement. So, Connie, I'd love to start with you.
Okay.
I'd love to ask, for you, what comes to mind when you think about restoration?
It's very interesting that that's actually the question. We were able to choose our questions.
Yes.
I just want everyone to know that.
Yes.
That I chose that question. And because restoration for me, it's so different. Because my view started from what I can remember at 2 years old. And for those of you who are wondering, how do I remember that? It was a shower scene. And my brother actually one day came forward and shared, without knowing, my shower scene, the same exact shower scene. So I want to just set that stage, if I may. And I thought about restoration. How do I really know what restoration is? Because trauma started for me at 2 years old. So when did restoration really start? So for me, restoration started the moment that I said, no more. Restoration started for me the day that I said, I'm going to break the silence. And that day was the day that I heard my father was arrested. That's the day my restoration started. And then from there, it was going out and speaking and breaking the silence of how does all of this start? And that it starts for a lot of us in the home, childhood sexual abuse, or we could call it incest.
Absolutely. And what was that gap of time? You said from 2 till your father was arrested. That restoration began for you.
So 2 years old. I'm much older. I will be 70 next year. Okay. So it started in 1958.
Okay.
And he was arrested in 1986.
Okay. Wow.
That was that gap.
Well, I can't wait to hear even more as we continue this conversation about that restoration began in 1986 and what has happened since then. So.
And then just one little more, another key component. And then the additional restoration for me is the work that I have been privileged and honor to walk alongside and work with survivors.
Yes.
Because that is a continuation for me personally of my restoration and healing.
And walking it with others.
Yes,
amazing. Oh, I love that. Thank you for that. The answer to that question. And Telisia, I would love to ask you, what is something you've reclaimed in your life? And when we're talking about a restoration journey, what do you feel like you've reclaimed in your life that was taken from you?
That's a very big question. But when I started thinking about, how to answer that, I really thought of reclaiming my identity. And not only my identity, but my voice, because for so long, even as a child, even before the trafficking even began, there were times where my mom would think, she would tell me that I could not speak before we got in the car and after we got out of the car, because it seemed that every time I would say, Mom, aren't you glad we didn't get into an accident today? We'd get into an accident. And so then she started just telling me, don't say nothing. And so I think for me, my identity, reclaiming that was big for me, because I'm like, I didn't know my identity. And what had to do with my identity was my voice. And so just reclaiming that all together has been huge for me, is learning who I am and what I'm capable of doing, and my voice matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to go off script for a second. When we're talking about voices and giving voices back or reclaiming voices, right? And survivor voices, how does it make you feel when someone says, I'm giving a voice to the voiceless rather than I want to amplify their voices? I know on our podcast, we love to say invading the darkness is amplifying survivor voices. Can you maybe speak to that, either of you, about what that means to either reclaim or amplify? What's the difference, maybe?
I love that word is being used, amplify a survivor's voice. I think even at the very beginning for me, I would always say that I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless, for those who did not have a voice yet.
Right.
Because especially coming out of the life, you don't even know, you don't know anything,
Right.
you know? And so you don't even know that you can have a voice to speak out or to speak up or to even just, I mean, for so long, I went by an alias in my trafficking. And so if I'd add one more thing to reclaiming was my name, but it was because I was able to reclaim my voice and amplify my voice also, if you really think about it. And so I really like the amplifying another survivor's voice or a victim's voice because they may not know that they have one yet. And so we get to be that voice for them or amplify our voice, make it louder for them until they can have their own.
And same, amplify speaks volumes.
Yes.
Right. But being a voice for the voice, being our voice, I'm sorry, but no. I have a voice. And you are not my voice because here's the thing. We were silenced.
Yes.
So even though as a child, I was very vocal. I was not a quiet child.
Right.
However, my abuse, I was very silent. No one knows. No one knew. You know, I can remember when I came out to my classmates years ago, right? But I came out to them and they said, how did we not know? Why didn't you tell us? We knew everything else. You were very vocal about so many other things.
Right.
But why not that?
Yeah.
So my voice, I was so silenced for how many years? Please don't take my voice away.
Yes.
I love you for wanting to be my voice. But I have a voice and you can amplify my voice and walk alongside of me to support me, give me the confidence and the courage to use my own voice.
Correct.
That you've always had.
That you've always had.
I love that. Whenever we're working with survivors, as someone who's not a survivor, as someone who's more on the social worker side of things, I'm always very sensitive to that as well, to say, hey, listen, you're not giving them a voice. They've had one all along. They were born with it. They just haven't been able to use it like they want to. So we're there to help them rediscover that voice and they can amplify it themselves, you know, and giving them those platforms to amplify it like today.
And I think that's also, it comes down to empowerment.
Yes.
And empowering them to use their voice, that even though they may not, you know, they may not think that they have one or they don't know how to use it yet.
Right.
And so we can come alongside and empower.
Giving them the tools.
That they need.
So now I'd love to go back to Connie. When we're talking about advocacy, right? So how do you advocate without becoming re-traumatized or feeling stuck in your story?
A lot of self-care.
Yes.
That's always, we always talk about
Yes.
self-care, but how do you advocate without being stuck or re-traumatizing yourself? That is such a tough one. It's, you know, it's why are you in this work and what are you doing first?
Right.
It's your why. It's really, to my survivor siblings, I'm going to talk to you, my survivor siblings first.
Yes.
It's why are you doing this work? And what part of this work have you chosen to do? And be mindful about that first. So look at, if you have chosen to work one-on-one with other survivors, with other victims, can you really do that?
Right.
Right? So really look at what you have chosen to do and test it and see, because you're not going to know really until you have walked into maybe each different sector of the different positions that are out there in this work.
Yes.
And see what does fit for you. And at the same time, is reminding yourself that this is not your story. It is not your journey. This is their story. This is their journey.
Right.
And what I found for myself is I have to constantly remind myself that. I have to constantly remind myself not to attach myself to their story.
Yes.
And to their journey. Because whether you are a survivor or not, it is very, very easy to carry vicarious trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
To identify and to hold on to someone else's trauma.
Yes.
So that's what's worked for me. And that's when I work with other survivors and, throughout the years of doing this work, that is what I found to be the number one tool as we talk about tools in our show.
That's wonderful insight. And I hope many people listening to this podcast episode will glean from that wisdom and knowledge that you've gained from, like you said, you try it out, maybe working one-on-one, maybe try out a different space of, working with survivors in different capacities, and you have to find your why and what works for you.
Well, that's why when I work with organizations, I encourage them to do cross-training. I encourage them, especially with their survivor mentors, their survivor population, but actually with all of their staff that are working in this arena, is to cross-train. Because when you're cross-training, right, then you're giving them the opportunity to kind of tap into the different positions that you have in your organization without saying, why don't you go try this and see how it fits and can you do the job? But when you cross-train, you have that opportunity to test and then come back and say, I really like this. This is why. I really like this. This is why. My strengths are better here. My strengths are not
exactly
here.
Yes. Oh, I love that's great.
I love
Thank
that.
you. Yes,
that's
absolutely. So Telisia, what has community or friendship played a role in your restoration? Can you talk about community and friendship in your healing process?
Yes. So it took me years to even come out and share what took place. I think one, because I didn't have the words to explain what it was. But when I did start sharing my story, the community that came around me was huge for me. And that was actually my church family. And I had 2 instances where I did share my story with people that I found out later could not handle my story, and they stopped talking to me. I guess they didn't know how to handle it. But then when you get around people that have compassion, have empathy, they want to help, they want to, come beside you. That was huge for me in that community of faith. And it took years for me to even be able to trust someone. And so that was huge for me. And then the friendship side, I've had a few friends in my life, but I have had through this life, like being out, and even within the last probably 12 years, I have one friend that she knows everything, the good, the bad, the, ugly.
Right.
And has never judged, has never like, girl, I don't want nothing else to do with you type of thing. She has never done that to me. And she'll, God always seems to bring me people that don't sugarcoat anything. And I'm usually the one who's like really timid. And he brings me people that don't sugarcoat. And I enjoy that because I'm like, I need that in my life.
Right.
And so that friendship has been really important to me, to have someone to walk alongside of me when I need someone, you know. So that's been huge.
It's funny how God does that. He knows your perfect balance sometimes and what you need.
Yeah.
So that's neat to hear that he's put multiple people in your life to kind of balance that out for you and challenge you in good ways, right?
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes I have the firecracker come out of me every once in a while, but for the most part, all my friends are firecrackers.
Yes. I love that.
Yes.
And I've met a few of them.
Yes,
so I know I can attest.
Yes. Yes. Connie is one of them.
I love it. Yes.
She is a huge firecracker in my life. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
And so Connie, I'd love to turn back to you and ask you, what would you hope the world can better understand about survivor journeys when it does come to living beyond your story, long-term restoration and healing?
I know I'm taking a long pause, and I apologize for that.
No,
It
please
has
don't.
been a interesting 6 months for me in terms of restoration and healing. Some of it has to do with, if I may, the political climate. Some has to do with Epstein files,
Right.
and all that conversation. Some has to do with my father was a trafficker. It has to do with some of his victims are now coming forward and approaching me of what he did. Some of them I have known since I was a child and had to watch what he did to them. And so I share that with you all to say that these last 6 months have been very tough, and it has challenged my restoration. It has challenged every tool that I have in my tool belt. It has challenged every modality that I have gone out to work with my survivor siblings that, I've worked with them, where I've gone out to mentor them to be able to go out and be survivor mentors and advocates and et cetera, and to be able to work in this field. And I say that, and I hesitated because here's what I don't want to happen is I don't want anyone out there that has gone through anything that is traumatic to think that, oh my goodness, I'm going to spend whatever amount of time working on myself and going to therapists and whatever restoration and healing looks like to one day be sitting there like Connie is going, because I know that all those tools I have is why I can sit here.
Right.
It's why I can attend the Just conference today. It's why I can present tomorrow morning because I have those tools.
Yes.
And so with that, restoration is hard. Healing is hard. And it's beautiful all through that toughness and hardness because every day we wake up. Every day the sun shines. Every day we get to thank God that we have another day because there are so many of our siblings that they don't have that opportunity.
Right.
And or they are experiencing such health events, such as I have a survivor that is a recent amputee. And I'm walking that journey with her.
Yes.
And so I want to end that with our restoration and our healing is a journey. It will be challenged. And it's good that it's challenged because here's the thing. A lot of you are going through programs. When you walk out of that program, you're going to be tested.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Be tested. Go back to your mentors.
Right.
Tell them how you're being tested. Don't be embarrassed to let them know that maybe you've stepped outside the lines. Let them be there to help you walk back over to the other side of the line because that's how you live life. Because life is always going to challenge you and test you.
Absolutely. And it's a lifelong journey.
It is a lifelong journey. And don't be afraid of that.
Exactly.
Because it's a lifelong journey.
It doesn't just, you don't just graduate one program. You don't just complete one step and then you're good for the next 5-10 years. It's like, it's a constant up and down of, like you said, I love how you keep saying your tools in your tool belt. And as you go along life, you probably keep picking up tools to put in that belt and you get to lean on those every time there is something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that.
Good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
That
See?
is so good.
That's what this podcast is all about, that if there are people that are in the life or just getting out or maybe just finishing that second, third, fourth program to hear some of these, insights from other people that have been there. And I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and don't be hard on yourself.
Yes.
Do the journey of healing and restoration because it does. It's a lifelong journey that we are on of healing from multiple forms of trauma. It's not just one form of trauma, it's multiple.
Right.
And so it didn't happen overnight. And our healing and our restoration isn't going to happen overnight. It's a journey of it. And so I love what you said, Connie.
Thank you.
And going off of what you were just saying, Telisia, too, is a question that you had chosen to answer on the podcast today. And it goes perfectly with what we're saying is, what would be your message to victims right now, still in the life?
I always like to tell survivors or even victims that there is a life after that life. It's full of ups and downs and curves and mountains and hills and valleys, and it's full of everything that you could possibly think of walking through. You're going to walk through it, and we can make it. And Connie and I and other survivors that are going to be on these different podcasts can testify that we've made it to the other side of that life, or from that life, and we're walking through it, and it's one step at a time. And so for them, I just want to tell them that you have the strength to do it, and you have people on the other side that have come through and are waiting for you to help you walk through this journey.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to ask you both the same question as we kind of wrap up today's episode and take your time with it. But I love that at the end of every episode this season, we want to ask every survivor, every overcomer, every champion that we talk to, what is bringing you joy in life right now? Because I think so often we do kind of look to survivor leaders, survivor experts, and lean on their story, and maybe not always tapping into, but who are you as a person today? What is bringing you joy and happiness and hope in life? So I'd love to hear from each of you. What's bringing you joy right now in life?
So many things.
Yes.
So many things. So again, I'm going to start personal and then roll into the professional if I can. So I'm a grandma, and I love being a grandma. I wish they lived closer. So I have two little guys, they're 11 and 7, and they're my son's little guys. And I just love them so. And my kids.
Yeah.
I was never going to have children. Never. I can remember I worked for Revlon for years. I was a national trainer for them. And I can remember I was flying to New York, and my friends, shouldn't say this probably, but probably so drunk I couldn't get on the airplane because they didn't want me to go and have my tubes tied at 22 years old.
Right.
And so anyway, I have 2 children. I have my son, that is a creative director and lead fashion designer for the U.S. Polo Association. Wow. And my daughter-in-law, Melissa, that is a pediatric nurse. And then my daughter, Courtney, is out in Denver, and she's just opened up her own chiropractic office.
Amazing.
And they specialize in trauma.
Amazing.
And they are going to be opening up, starting their own nonprofit so that they can provide services to survivors of sexual assault and trafficking.
Wow.
That's phenomenal.
That's amazing.
And then, of course, my sweetheart that I've known since I was 15 years old, and we'll be celebrating 15 years back together.
Wow.
Right, 40-year span in November. And so I love my life, my personal life. I love my life. I give back. I'm the chair for the Commission on Human Trafficking under the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners. I sit on so many task force and legislation committees, and you guys all know my heart. So when we start to roll over into the professional side, I sit back and I watch now. I watch Telisia, I watch Kim, I watch so many other survivors. I'm going to say right now, especially in the state of Florida. I had the honor and privilege to co-create Voices for Florida and the Open Doors Outreach Network. Right. Unfortunately, has since closed. But from that, my role was to create the positions for survivor mentors and advocates, et cetera, right? Because you guys know me. That is my thing. My thing is about survivors having jobs, but not a job, a professional career.
Yes.
With professional development. And so I sit back now and see them. They don't know what they do to me when I sit back and see them. My heart is so full. Like I know that if tonight I closed my eyes and I didn't wake up tomorrow, my heart would be content.
Yeah.
And I wish that for so many other people, because that is our role for a lot of us. For a lot of us older survivors, it's our time to kind of step back, right, and pass the baton.
Right.
And it doesn't mean we're leaving.
Right.
It just means it's time for me, in a sense. You know, I've created positions. I've created mentorships. I will still be there to do all those things.
Yes.
But it's now time to pass baton. What do you need? And I'm here for you.
You teed it up for the next 2 generations to
I
take
guess
it on.
Yeah. Yes, I did, huh?
Because now we are seeing that. Yeah.
So we are. And I encourage every survivor that's out there, or anyone that's out there, what's next? What's next that's your give back? And by the way, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about me.
Right.
All I could see were Telisia's and Kim's and so many others.
Right.
And more importantly is, what could we see past our survivors that had obstacles that was prohibiting them from having a professional career? And what could we do to move past those obstacles so that they could have the life that God created for them to have?
Yes. I thank you so much for that. Because I've had the privilege and honor of seeing that working in real time when I was working as an advocate alongside survivor mentors. And it made my heart so happy to see we're on the same level and this is wonderful. We get to work together, not just bring you in as a contractor, not just bring you in as a special guest. No, this is your position and you are a professional in this field. And you're actually the number one person we go to when we need to make something happen. I loved that. So
exactly.
Thank you for sharing that,
You're
that
welcome.
you played that role.
You're welcome.
Yes. And Telisia, what's bringing you joy in life right now?
Okay, so since we've kind of divided it up so personal, that's okay. Personal, I would definitely say I am a great aunt to 2 wonderful, beautiful little munchkins that I like to call or call them. And they are the joy of my life. I don't get to see them much except through Facebook, on Messenger, but they are the joy of my life. And then also I think this last year, though it was very challenging for me, I can say I had great joy being able to travel and see my family.
Yeah.
I literally got to see my brother and my 2 sisters and literally just did a road trip and stayed for long periods of time just to spend time with them. And that's been a joy this last year as far as personal. Professional, I'm still working that through right now. I've just moved back to Florida. I had moved away for a while. Like I said, I've been traveling. And so now coming back, I think the joy is, it could be a joy and it could be frustrating all at the same time, is now looking for work that, we talked about finding out what position do you want to do? Do you want to mentor? Do you want to, what do you want to do?
Right.
And that's a joy to me right now, is learning even more of myself and okay, what do I want to contribute in this next season of my life? Because as Connie said, she'll be turning 70. I'll be turning 50.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do in this second half of my life that I can make a big difference in the lives of others? And so that's a huge joy for me right now, is kind of finding out who I am in this next season of life.
Yeah. And it sounds like both of you are entering new and exciting seasons that will bring new things for both of you, but still being in it in your own capacity, in your own ways. So
for sure.
Yeah. I don't see either of you being in this space where you're surrounded by people who've been in this field now, for decades. In the US, it's so neat to hear people when they're talking about I'll never retire. There's no way I could ever retire, but I'll be in it in some capacity.
Yes.
And I feel that for both of you.
Yeah.
I don't see any retirement in sight in the future.
Not going anywhere.
Exactly. And I love that, because that's what we need. We need people to it's a heart thing. And once your heart is in it, you can't leave it. So
yeah. And I think also in that of not retiring, it's okay that maybe you've mentored for a while and you don't want to mentor anymore. You want to go into another position or another avenue of this work, and just finding out, like I said, finding out who you are in this next season of life and what you want to contribute. And it's okay to change your job description.
Exactly.
But no, there's no retiring.
But you're still in it, no matter what.
And I don't know if retiring would be good, because everyone that I've met that has retired is working even harder.
They work even more.
Field. Yes. So
Retired.
Yeah, retired. So I don't think I'm ever going to say I'm retired.
Yes. Well, thank you for never retiring, both of you. And I'm so, once again, just thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast, for being with us today. Everything you're doing, you have done, and you'll continue to do in this field.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us together.
Yes.
We were excited.
Yes.
So, yeah. It was great privilege for both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Shared Hope International's Invading the Darkness podcast. You can continue to listen and watch our podcast on all streaming platforms. To learn more about what Shared Hope International is doing and take action to end child sex trafficking, please visit us at sharedhope.org.